Okay, I think
Sorry.
you coughed. I think you coughed as soon as I hit the button.
My fault.
We're off to a great start. Hey, welcome back. This is the Movie Rubric. I'm Timothy McDaniel.
Cole Wright.
Jonah Jobai.
And I'm not going to introduce myself as Cole made fun of me for even thinking about it. And welcome back to the Movie Rubric. It's been a hot second, and we say that. I think we just need to, I'm going to make a motion, looking for a second. Let's just get away with acknowledging the fact it's been a hot second. Because I think we're cursed to always just have to be
You get
a hot second.
episodes when you get episodes.
Yeah. We don't do this professionally. We do this for fun. We are busy people. You'll notice we're not joined by Josh. I think this is the first episode Josh hasn't been here. Is that correct?
I believe so.
I think it's always been us three. We've had Jonah on occasionally. We love having Jonah. Life has gotten busy. Josh is just not able to be here with us. He's not able to come and go see the movies with us. He's been too busy to record. So we're subbing in Jonah as a semi-permanent replacement. So congratulations, Jonah. You've made it to the big leagues.
I did it.
Now, don't
I've
screw
peaked
it up.
in life.
And we'll just have to, I don't know, AI generate your voice or something.
You can do that. I'll sign off on it.
Yeah, I think we could recreate Jonah pretty easily, honestly.
That sounded a little funny.
Yeah.
Gobble.
Hello, guys. It is me, Jonah.
Oh, no, but so we just went and saw, when was the last time we recorded? Cole, you got mine like a steel trap. What was the date the last time we recorded or in the ballpark?
Like the March Madness thing?
Yes.
That was in March. So end of March. It was after Mamma Mia.
There you
so end of March.
And then the last movie we did was The Marvels.
Yeah, that was during my birthday, so it was November.
Which is so sad that was our last film. That makes me sad. So it's been a very hot second. We're going to be rusty. Bear with us, but we're happy to be back. I will say, similarly to us going back to the theaters, I've noticed that with this movie, we went and saw Twisters with an S. It's the sequel to the original movie Twister. A lot of, how do I say, normies are going to the theaters to see this movie.
Man, you're going at everyone.
Dang, savage.
Man.
Well, when I check
Pushes up glasses, sips a wine glass. That's high class folk. Only don't go see it. Twisters.
No, I didn't say we're high class, but I think you have to acknowledge that we go to the movies way more than normal people.
Because let's be real. What else do we have to do?
People that don't normally go to the movies went to see this
Here's the
movie.
thing. People love Twister. Like the original movie.
Yeah.
That's why they're going
Like
to see it.
we are a different breed. We like the theaters. I think post COVID, a lot of people just don't go to the theater as much as they used to.
All that streaming stuff makes everything extremely convenient.
You're 100% right. So when I saw that there were like 4 different auditoriums showing the movie, which just packed out time slots last night, I was like, wow, they're really pushing this movie. I've seen a lot of old-fashioned ads for it. I saw where it looked like it was a poster for the movie, but it had been like thrown into the side of a building. It was like sticking out the side like by a tornado.
That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
I've seen some billboards that are like partially ripped off. Like
They were proud of this.
Yeah. And that's how they advertised the old one back in the day too.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's good to see
Really,
some.
the first one, I haven't seen it in forever. I remember being thought it was mid. Like a lot of people love Twister. I'm like, I guess I need to rewatch it.
It's got a very like devout fan base. My parents being included in that. We've seen
My
the
mom
original.
loves
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've seen the original Twister movie. Apparently not as much as my sister-in-law who's out there, because she was like telling me about the parallels between this and that, and they did this character dirty because of this and that, and I was like, oh my gosh, she remembers that movie way more than I do.
Twister does have the worst ride in Universal Studios history, though.
Is it that bad?
Is it a ride, though?
Does it constitute a ride? That's what I was going to say.
I mean, it's an experience, I guess, but still not good.
Jonah, you stand on a small, cramped concrete platform, and they shove you in there. You're in there with like 40 dudes, shoulder to shoulder, ankle to ankle.
It's AC in there, so it's like, it's hot day, perfect day to go in. It's
air conditioned.
Not as cool as the Penguin House at the zoo, though.
That's true. That is perfect. They just blast you there.
Kind of. So you're like looking down out over a like barn windmill, and I think it's in front of a cornfield if I remember
it's like
correctly.
like a farm setting.
Yeah, and it has a decent optical illusion of making you feel like you're in a field. It's not incredible because it's an older ride, but it's there. And then the wind cranks up, and the building gets like parts of it break off and fly off, and like the sound of a cow goes over your head. I don't know if you actually ever see a
No, the cow's there.
Is there a
there's
cow?
a cow.
Maybe it was just when we were there, the cow wasn't working. I recently went to Disney like 3 years ago as an adult, and I was like, where's the cow? So that's the ride. It just like simulates kind of ish a like barn being blown away.
That's it. There's not like a big air blow thing.
And then,
Well, yeah, there's like wind rushing through the
you
room.
can see a tornado vaguely in the background, and it's a pretty neat illusion, I guess.
So it's like a deluxe version of those things at the mall that you stand into and just blast you.
Except you don't get to be in it.
Oh,
Yeah, you get to stand off to the side and
Like a-
witness it.
He's
happen.
gonna watch.
Bystander.
Oh,
But then
that's lame.
at the end, they have a voice over here going, "Congratulations, you survived the twister."
Wow.
And then you just go on.
What a
about your
Universal Studios Park moment.
day.
You're in the
yeah.
movie. You just survived the twister.
Yeah, you.
That's crazy.
They were proud of us back in the day, and then
It's still there?
I don't think it's still there anymore. I think they got rid of it.
I know they changed a lot.
They got rid of the Jaws ride. So if they got rid of the Jaws ride, they better have got rid of Twister.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're reworking it. I think they're going
They're
to
gonna make it
The Twisters ride.
Twisters.
probably.
There's two sets. There's two barns. This
I would
time.
assume, yeah, like 2 tornadoes. I don't know. Like I would assume they're reworking it, but I really don't know.
Yeah.
But either way, no, yeah, it's the tornado's very sad. It's like, have you ever seen one of those like little dust devils on like a baseball field or something?
It's like that. It's like really like depressing torque twister.
Like it's
Then-
that slightly in the distance to give the optical illusion that it's bigger.
Oh, that's pretty sad.
I bet you could probably find this online. Maybe we need to look that a little. Oh, anyways, rewinding it back. Yes, though, people love this movie. What was my original point? Lots of people are going to see this movie. I was talking to my parents. My parents, I can't tell you the last time they've got out of their houses to go watch a movie.
I've seen people post about it on Facebook all over the place that they went to the movies. Like, you never go to the movies.
Yeah,
Why
and my
would you-
mom was like, "We're going to go see Twisters tonight," and I was like, "You?
Like, really? Yeah.
And Matt and Molly and them even invited us. They said they were going. I was like, I don't know the last time like we've all as like a friend group, not the movie group.
I think the last time, like, I probably went with both of them was probably when Indiana Jones came out. Because I go with Matt a lot to the movies. But
Yeah.
Matt and Molly, I think probably whenever the last Indiana Jones movie came out.
Yeah, so I think it's awesome that this movie's bringing so many people to the theaters. So let's actually talk about the movie now, and let's decide if it's worth the masses going out to see this movie. So Jonah, I'm going to talk to you in a second. I'm reminding myself, but I'm going to pretend I'm reminding Jonah. This is the spoiler-free part
Oh, okay.
here right now.
See, I would have forgot. I would have
This is
started
where
spitting.
I usually do like a thumbs up or a thumbs down thing. Should people go see this movie? And we kind of just lightly talk about it. And I'm going to say, 2 thumbs sideways. They're facing each other. And you can imagine a tiny dirt devil twister in between them. Like it was okay.
Here, my thing is, I would not have paid money if I knew it was like what it was. I wouldn't have paid money to go see this movie. I would have just waited for free streaming.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I think it's fair.
I mean, here's the thing. We've seen worse. We've seen some trash movies over the like the last few that we've done. This was just. I mean, I get we've seen worse, but
We've seen worse,
it's also not great.
but I don't know. I think it was overhyped.
I mean, the marketing was really good for it. Just you got to deliver on a good movie though when you do it.
Yeah.
So I'm 2 thumbs sideways. Cole, I think you said it best. Like, wait for streaming. I think that's a really good way
But
to
here's
put
the thing:
it.
if you like, you can because I don't think it like it's gonna add anything to like the theater experience if you go see it in the theater. It's not like an Oppenheimer thing where like the best way to experience it is in a movie theater with this with the sound system and the screen and everything like that. Yeah, I'd wait for streaming.
I would agree. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like one that you need to see in theaters. Jonah,
I'm gonna give a soft thumbs up.
a soft thumb up.
Soft thumbs up. I think it's for if you're going to the theater like a lot of these people are. I think and just looking for like something to be entertaining. I thought the movie was pretty entertaining. You know, I'm kind of getting to other stuff here, but you know, it's entertaining. There's some good tension, and the characters, you know, are mediocrely written enough to where it's not completely boring when there's no tornadoes, even though it's a little boring. But I think you'll have a good time at the theater. But like you said, it's nothing amazing. It's just a fairly entertaining romp. But I mean, it's not nothing incredible. I think you'd also wait till streaming. You know,
I feel like my problem, I would almost rather something be. I'm sorry, my mic's giving me like a really weird feedback thing here. I would almost rather a movie be bad than just okay.
yeah,
And that's like, I'm sick and tired of leaving the theater and being like, that was a film. For what it's worth, I think I enjoyed my time with like something like Haunted Mansion a little bit more. Because as bad as that movie was, I remember the things that make it bad funny.
yeah, I would agree with that.
Whereas with this one, I left and I was like, that was a film. I watched a movie. And that's kind of where I'd leave it.
Yes. It's kind of off topic, but I say that a lot about like a lot of modern Star Wars stuff. Like I like watching like that was fine, but I almost would rather that have been terrible because I'm never gonna remember that ever again.
We're not going to discuss maybe the movie Rubric should do the Acolyte.
No,
I haven't watched that
refuse
yet.
to watch. I've heard what is taking place on it.
I may or may not have several episodes of it downloaded, not through Disney because I refuse to give them my viewership. Maybe I shouldn't admit that on air, but
I mean,
you know.
yeah,
Way
it's
to
fine.
go!
I pay for Disney.
Way to go. We're
For what
banned
it's
from
worth,
movies.
I pay for Disney Plus. This is how dumb. This is how stupid I am. I pay for Disney Plus.
Why don't you just watch it on Disney Plus?
I don't want them to get views because here's the problem: when people hate watch things,
They make more.
Okay, is one person gonna make a difference on that?
I don't know. Halo got a season 2. It was awful, so I don't know. I just don't want to. I was like, I don't want to be a metric in the
Okay,
thing.
here's the thing: the one,
Yeah.
I watched the first episode on
you
Disney
watching
Plus.
or not watching is not gonna sway. It's not like, oh, we gotta watch if Tyler McDaniel's going to.
You don't know that. Maybe the Nielsen's have their finger on like my spreadsheet, and they're like, "What's he watching?"
Like, he's off the grid. He's downloading things illegally.
I watched the
Random.
first episode on Disney Plus. Didn't care for it. Downloaded the second 2. Watched the second one. Don't think I watched the third. I think I got like 5 minutes in. And was like,
I'm done.
yeah, I think I'm gonna go play something else or do something else with my time. So, all right. So Jonah's a soft thumb up. I'm a thumb sideways, and you're a thumb sideways.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess that's what you want to call it.
This is a movie. You can go see it. I really want to talk about spoilers now because like I don't want to say I want to rip this movie apart, but I really want to nitpick a lot of things on it. So you guys have anything else you want to say to people who might be going to see this movie?
We got to warn all the fans that they're in danger over here, just like they do in the movie.
Oh yeah, like
Oh yeah.
if
That's
this
a
was
good jumping off point.
the movie, spoiler warning, here it is. I was going to say if this was the movie, I would say a spoiler and then be like, "Oh, by the way, spoiler warning." Like after the fact. That
Yeah.
is oh. You know what? Let's just skip there. Let's just skip straight to that.
A spoiler time.
Yeah, this is the spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert for all you Twister fanboys.
I have in all caps here the words, "we have to help them." Because like 3 different times in this movie, our scientists drop the like supposedly life-saving research they're doing to drive to a town to help them survive a tornado.
Even though, like, what are you gonna do? Like,
Exactly. That to me was the single-handedly maybe stupidest part of this film is that on 3 different occasions, we drop the research we're doing to put ourselves in harm's way. First off, you cannot outdrive a tornado.
Yes.
Like those things are faster than you.
Yeah.
But 3 different occasions, we outdrive a tornado so we can go to a town to help the townspeople survive. And in one of them, they don't actually show them helping survive. It's like, we have to go help the town. And then it smash cuts to them just like walking through the debris, not even helping people, just like looking around.
And when they do help them, it's like you're just telling them kind of common tornado knowledge. Like, go inside. Like, oh,
like here's the thing.
couldn't have guessed
Here's
that one.
my biggest gripe with these townspeople. You're in Oklahoma, where tornadoes happen.
Oh, sorry, I had to.
Where tornadoes happen quite regularly. You don't know like proper safety for a tornado.
You don't know get out of your car.
You don't know go find a windowless anywhere that's like secure.
Yeah.
We debated the get out of your car thing last night. I was always told, mind you, now the movie does not do a good job of teaching you this. Like the movie would have me convinced that I'm right because every time someone got out of the car, they died.
That's true. Yeah.
I was always taught you buckle your seatbelt, you like scoot your seat back, and you get as low in the seat as you can. Like duck your head down, try to keep your head away from the windows, but that you can stay in the car and maybe even should stay in the car.
The couple that didn't listen when they were at the motel that were in their car and they got sucked away and allegedly died when they went to the swimming pool.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if they didn't show if they died or not.
But
the car flew away.
that car
Yeah.
got destroyed. You're not surviving. It's like,
but I was always told you stay in the car. And then, my wife and her sister last night were like, "No, you idiot. You're supposed to get out of the car." And I was like, so I did some Googling. I don't have them here.
I thought you go with like if you can get out of your car if you go to like a ditch or something.
Yeah.
So that is, I read like 6 or 7 different articles last night sitting there on the couch while we were talking about the movie because my wife and her sister loved this movie. They loved it.
Well, you know that really says a lot, honestly.
Yeah. Which actually, I was going to say we were talking about the spoiler free part. I think I think this movie is aimed at a different audience. I think it's aimed at a much broader general audience than we go see just about everything, right?
This is a good blockbuster vibe,
Yeah.
I think.
So they love the movie, and we were arguing about it. And I read 6 or 7 different things, and they kind of said if there is a like significantly lower part of the ground that you can safely get to before the tornado's there, then yes, it's okay to get out of your car. But they said like if you just find yourself in a tornado, stay in your car.
Yeah.
And if the ground isn't significantly lower, like one of them even said most ditches don't constitute significantly lower ground.
Like it would have to be a deep ditch.
Yeah, like
or a swimming pool.
or a swimming pool.
The swimming pool, that makes sense.
Conveniently drained. With the maintenance panel.
hole
Well, you gotta think, what
Yeah.
time of the year was this in? When's like tornado season in Oklahoma?
Spring. Well, I assume spring is when it's here.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess if they haven't filled the pool up yet, I guess it checks out.
Maybe.
Yeah. When it was like a dead end motel too, so
Yeah.
it sucked.
Can't afford the pool.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
pay that water bill.
So, but there's a couple other times they kind of showed like tornado common sense knowledge, and it almost felt like a PSA.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I thought was interesting. But my favorite was at the beginning of the movie where they were like, let's get under the overpass. And one person said what I was thinking, no, that's the worst spot to be in a tornado. And then they
go
five
anyways, yeah.
proceed to run towards the overpass.
that didn't end well for him.
I
yeah.
mean, it's like kind of like at that one. It's like, which one? Stay in the car? Like that what they should have done?
Yeah, I don't know.
know.
They parked the car so far away from the overpass to begin with. Even they parked it.
They were stuck.
Oh, okay.
The wheel was stuck.
I'll give it that. Then I missed that, I guess. Yeah, and then they did the like movie slow walk through the one thing to the overpass after screaming, "That's not where you should go." When the movie opened, I was like, "These people are all dying."
Yeah.
Like,
I
did you
hadn't
guys
seen
also have that vibe?
I hadn't seen any trailers, so I didn't know what's
So
going on.
I kind of assumed Javi and I think Kate, was that her name?
Yeah.
I assumed they were surviving because they were in the interview before the movie.
I was literally thinking that during the show. I was like, well, these two did an interview. But like I'm with Jonah. I hadn't seen a single ad for
they're
this
a big
movie.
ordeal.
Yeah.
They're a big deal on this one.
I was like, I bet all these people are going to die. And then they did. And it was done in a pretty good way. I'm saying this to go into like my next big point and complaint with this movie. They were killed in a pretty traumatizing fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And then the movie couldn't tell if it wanted to be like a horror movie where they dealt with trauma or a comedy. There were so many other parts where the movie felt like it was trying to be like, yeehaw, let's go down to like the slap comedy barn and stuff like that. And like I just had a hard time with that juxtaposition. Was that just me? Because they said that they never felt like it was trying to be funny.
It definitely was trying to be funny, but I didn't feel like it clashed too bad. I feel like they knew when to do each thing.
Okay.
Personally.
I really only chuckled during like the tornado wranglers when they're shooting fireworks in the tornado. That's awesome. That's
Yeah. That's when the chickens died.
I'm like,
okay, that
I'm
sounded
like I
traumatic,
would watch
but-
this YouTube channel that they have.
Yeah, I would watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, like so like that's an example of it, but even just the scene leading up to them shooting the tornado in. They're cracking jokes, they're making quips to each other, and they're taking very lightly this thing that we just saw kill 4 people.
Yeah.
Like, and I guess that's my point, as we go from, and then they very quickly go back to Kate is traumatized. She gets out, she looks at it, she has a traumatic episode, and it was just, and then we follow up that traumatic episode with them in the tornado shooting off fireworks and getting out and screaming and the guy throwing up. So just like
Yeah.
the constant, that's what I'm talking about. That
And
like,
then those same guys later are like, "Oh, we got to help these people."
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Well, they don't.
I'm fine with that.
They
yeah.
did not help the people.
Listen,
I guess.
they-
but,
He
yeah.
found a dog.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, they were giving food away, but they were also selling T-shirts.
She did say that they sell the T-shirts to help them
Afford the
provide
food.
food.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that that's a pretty cool angle for them. As soon
Yeah.
as they introduce,
They did the in wrestling terms, if this was professional wrestling, they did the heel face flip, where you have one person start out as like your face, other one starts out as the heel, and by the end they flip.
yeah. As soon as they kind of introduced what they were, I kind of felt like we were going to do a team up of some sort with them at the end of the movie. I wasn't like you said, the actual flip to where they're the good guys,
And then Stormpar is
the bad guys.
The bad
Like-
guys. Yeah. The heartless
and also, for 95% of this movie, screw Javi. That's all I got to say.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
He's a
kind
little
of
manipulative.
he's a trash person. I didn't think his actor
that
was good.
hairline is repulsive.
It's a hairline.
The part I almost laughed at how almost I don't want to say mean, kind of manipulative it was when at the beginning when she's like, I don't I'm just kind of like traumatized from storm chasing before. I don't know if I want to do it again. He sends her the video of all the dead people, and he's like, "Hey," and the voice is like, "Hey, I mean, you could stop this. Maybe I'm just saying this is your fault, kind of."
Yeah, very emotionally manipulative.
Yeah.
Screw Hobby.
He wasn't written well, and then I didn't think the actor playing him did a good job. If I'm being honest, I thought he was just
No, he looked like he was checked out. He was checked out in the interview before the movie
yeah.
started.
And maybe that's that guy's face. I feel bad if that's your face, sir. I'm sorry, but your face just looks like you're not enjoying yourself.
Like, get a little excited. Act like you've been somewhere before.
Twisters, it's fun time.
So that was one of the first. I think you mentioned the pacing last night we were leaving. That was Jonah. What you just brought up was one of the first times I noticed the pacing being really bad because they sit down at the diner, and she's like, "No, I lost my friends. I don't want to be near tornadoes. I'm traumatized." All right, that makes sense to me. He sends her the text message, and then the next shot is her in the truck in Oklahoma. We don't show how she got there, how
Not
she
a struggle, not a...
Yeah. Just instantly we're in Oklahoma. And I was like, whoa.
And that's the same thing even when they go from... After they killed all the chickens during the second tornado. When it cuts from, we got to go help that town. And then it just jump cuts to, we're at the town now.
The town's destroyed.
We're in the ruins of the town.
Yeah. The pacing was not the worst I've seen in a film, but it definitely struggled from time to time.
Like it was firing through it.
It really was. I feel like we've trashed on it a little bit. I thought the film had a couple good points to it. I thought it had a really good soundtrack.
I thought it had a really good soundtrack.
You ruined it for me when he's like, it sounds like Family Guy music.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
There was one. That was actually like an original. Apparently, a lot of the songs in the film are original for the movie, and like the country artist wrote them specifically for Twisters, which I think is cool. And I went to Spotify and was like scrolling through them last night, and there's some good songs on there. The soundtrack was good, but there was one. It was the first big NATO chase towards the beginning
Sounds like
of the
a Family
film,
Guy
and it just
montage.
sounded like Seth Farland loves those like spaghetti western big string orchestra like things, and they're just like da, 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 da. I was like, cool, this sounds like a Family Guy chase song.
Oh no!
Like, well, this is ruined.
Yeah, I was sorry, but other than that, and I liked that song too. I thought the soundtrack was good.
Yeah, I liked the first part with the piano, like when she's looking out over the field. Like that sounds really good. And then at the end when she's when the tornado's like ripping apart like the power plant and became a fire tornado. And then, like, when she's driving the truck, I like the music's pretty good.
Yeah. Were they implying that the fire made it a bigger tornado?
That's what it looked like. It looked like it took the energy from the power plant and got bigger, but I don't, they never said that.
They never explicitly said that.
But the visuals imply that.
I don't think that's how tornadoes work.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, and I don't know how tornadoes work. Another pro I liked about this movie is a lot of the science jargon they say regarding, like, all the tornadoes themselves is apparently accurate. Like I was reading on Reddit, like apparently they did their homework and they brought in people who know what they're talking about when writing the script and like why the tornadoes form when they do, how to stop them, things like that. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I like the part where, I think you're in the bathroom for this, but the part where they're like driving to a tornado and they're talking about it and he's like, they're kind of talking about tornadoes and like there's a lot about it that no one understands, like how they form. It's like part science, part religion. Like, it was just the part's interesting.
That's kind of cool, yeah.
About it, yeah.
No, I literally I stepped out for I tried to hold it and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna step out, and I tried to come back as soon as I can, and I was like, I don't think I missed anything important. Apparently, I did.
I mean, it wasn't that important, but it was interesting.
I tell you what, the most tragic thing about this movie is Kate's friends never got to eat that barbecue her mom made.
That's true. Tragic.
Devastating.
I also put waste of pizza as one of my notes.
Yeah, she buys her a pizza, doesn't eat it. What a monster!
I thought that was funny. I mean, it wasn't like. Maybe they got food at the rodeo. It just felt very funny. He's like, thought you needed dinner. And then he's like, let me take you somewhere. She just throws the pizza on the bed and leaves.
I imagine that rodeos probably have good food.
Yeah, I'd like to think they got like some kettle corn, and a hot dog and a pretzel.
Yeah.
That pretzel last night was pretty good.
It was huge.
Yeah, it was huge.
Mondo.
I'm going to have to get an AMC pretzel next time.
It was like $15, but I mean, it was still, it's enough for we all three ate it.
We've been opening your eyes to, frozen Cokes.
I never had an icy before. You don't have to open my eyes to a pretzel. I know what a pretzel is.
But you never had AMC pretzel, though.
They're new.
Yeah,
I never had either. Someone at work told me, like, hey, if you're going to the movies, you should get their new pretzel.
Exactly.
I like I've got the pretzel bites from there, and those are good. And like the little pizza bites.
My statement's still not incorrect.
You're not wrong. Yeah, no, the pretzels are a newer thing. Yeah, movie theater food in general, like at least at our local theater, is trying to step it up. Like they had some really good looking burgers on the menu last night, like on the TV. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, I didn't see it. No, I
I
didn't
just don't want to pay $10 for like a potentially bad burger.
Yeah, exactly.
At AMC. So, well, I mean, I've got a couple other good things on here, but like I want to know. Let's go ahead and jump ahead just a little bit. Like, what was your guys' favorite moment in this movie? Do you have one?
I do.
What is yours?
The fireworks.
When they were shooting it?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I didn't know that's what they were going to build up to. Like, they just drive in, and then you just, yeehaw, here comes fireworks. Like, that's America right there.
You know what? And not necessarily the fireworks, but I think that first chase is probably my favorite part of the movie. That is like the Family Guy-esque music, the excitement. Those tornadoes just looked really good. I thought the CGI on the tornadoes was good most of the time, but definitely had some moments where I was like, eh. But like, I think that first chase was my favorite part of the movie as well.
Yeah. I would say my favorite part's probably the swimming pool part. They kind of did like a bit of a, I don't say kind of a one-shot vibe with it. The choreography was pretty cool there. Like when the trailer comes down and the camera almost kind of like jumps a little bit. And then, that was cool. I like that part.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a least favorite scene?
Take your pick.
Okay. So I don't know if I have a like I point to this scene, I'm like, yeah, this one's my least favorite.
I think just the whole sequence of like, okay, we just have this epic tornado chase, and then they're like, hitting you over the head like, we gotta help these people.
Yeah, that was just
Like,
obnoxious.
that's just, and they did it multiple times.
I think
Like, what the heck?
it wasn't necessarily a least favorite scene of mine, but it was a part in the movie where I just threw up my hands and I literally typed in my music, "Some of these townspeople deserve to die." Was
Yeah.
the last tornado they're chasing before it becomes it became a big one by this point.
Yeah.
Like,
No one thought to turn their head?
it's a clear day. You can see this thing in the distance, and there's people like playing baseball.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
And then I was like,
Right when it starts turning around, they're like, "Oh, we gotta get inside."
yeah, and I was like, and then for me, that was pushing it. I was like, really, no one saw this tornado forming. Like, not a single individual saw this tornado forming until it was like the huge big boy. Fine, whatever. The moment where I wrote down that they deserve to die was as this EF5 tornado is approaching the town, and you have like 30 people trying to hold and bring tents in.
Yes.
Yeah.
While they're flying away and the water tower's
Like,
shaking.
what are you going to do
Yeah.
with the tents? Like, once you...
I feel like the directors were just writers were just trying to be like, how can we make these townspeople look like they need help? And I was just like, they're worried about their belongings, and they weren't thinking about how no normal human being is going to be trying to bring their tent in.
It's fight or
Yeah.
flight at that point, so it's like, you just go.
Yeah. We see that monster coming at you.
Small children are taught this. Like, during emergency, you just get away from the emergency.
Yeah.
Tornado, fire, doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when they were trying to bring in all the tents, that was when I was like, you know what? Maybe these townspeople deserve to die.
Yeah.
They had it coming.
Yeah, I think my least favorite's probably I assume the mom was she in the first movie?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I haven't seen the first one in a long time.
I don't think she was the mom from the first one though, but it has been a very long time.
I couldn't tell. The way she comes out of the darkness looked like an MCU shot, so I was like, is she like supposed to be someone? But anyways, I was gonna say my least favorite part, I felt like when she's at her mom's house, like she's there a little too long. And I felt like I was kinda like
I'm also confused. So she came to town and she just didn't think to call her mom, and she just
broke in.
Yeah.
you just walked in.
Like,
yeah.
you'd think you would like shoot a text or something like, "Hey, I'm going to be in town."
She broke in, helped herself to the fridge, and considering we're in Oklahoma, she's lucky the mom didn't come around the corner like with a strap. Just like
Hey,
boom.
Yeah.
End of movie, roll the credits. Kate's brains are splattered against the fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I also love that the mom like had the guest bedroom ready and her daughter's bedroom ready.
Still intact.
And
Yeah.
the garage ready. And I was like, no, mom, if your daughter hasn't contacted you in 5 years, I feel like it's just going to have all this stuff. Just
You didn't even touch the
I
garage.
don't know. My mom's pretty sentimental about stuff, so she.
Dude, my mom, like, I left when we moved. I missed some stuff, and she just like a couple months ago just dropped it off on my front porch. She's like, "Here's some stuff of yours I found in the garage." She just dumped it on her front porch, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Yeah, my mom was like, "You're getting your stuff out of here."
Yeah.
So everyone's different, I suppose. Maybe that's just my mom being a little bit different.
Yeah. I did think that about the garage though, especially.
Yeah, I don't know. And like it was fine. Kind of with the mom, I thought the relationship with the mom was okay. I liked the mom. She's probably my favorite character.
Yeah, I like the mom. I think just her being at the house for me was just like a lot of just kind of hanging out, kind of, you know.
Yeah, I do think I wrote here. I think the romance was decent. I thought the romance was okay. It wasn't as cliche as it could have been in other similar-ish movies of this caliber, and it didn't necessarily end with them dating. The movie ended with him like working up the nerve to like go talk to her and like ask her out, kind of almost. So I like that. The romance was mostly pretty balanced and well written.
Yeah,
poor Javi getting
third wheeled.
Yeah.
Can we be honest though? Does Javi maybe deserve it a little bit?
I think he does deserve it. And like, let's be real here.
He acted like he was entitled to it.
Let's not act like the Glenn Powell's guy wasn't way more fun.
Like, I'd go hang out with this guy. I was simping for him.
Was that his partner? Who's Glenn Powell's?
Oh, the actor that plays the cowboy YouTuber.
Oh,
I forgot his character's name.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how Javi left his partner to die?
Yeah, Javi's a psychopath.
Yeah, he's dead.
He is that.
There's no way he lived.
Yeah, there's an E of 5 tornado. You're in front of it. You are driving directly in front of the tornado, and you just left your
because you're mad at him.
Yeah, just left him outside, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Like, you got to live with that.
When
Javi.
you're at the wheel, you could have just not stopped the car, even though he was yelling at you. You know,
like you just keep going.
Yeah.
But what's he gonna do?
Once again, that scene and then another one that Jonah reminded me of earlier kind of play into that. I felt a weird tonal energy from the movie because like they were fighting. He kicks him out and drives away, and many people in the audience laughed when he got left on the side of the road.
Splits off on him like
and a lot of people, my wife included, chuckled and kind of cheered a little bit. And I'm like, that dude's dead.
Yeah, he's
because you're telling me how dangerous these tornadoes are, but then we just leave a guy in front of it. You mentioned it earlier, the scene shortly after the rodeo where they're going into the motel. Like, we have to get out of here. Do you have a basement? The people are ignoring them in an almost comedic like fashion. Yeah. And then the one girl's like, oh, those sirens, 9 times out of 10, it's not even a real tornado. And then like something crashes through the wall and she goes, it's a tornado. And like everyone, people in the theater laughed again. And I'm like, is this scene supposed to be funny?
And then she dies.
And then I was like, I was
that's
like,
what you get for staying in the car.
Make it scary or not scary.
Yeah.
I do like they did the same thing in this movie they kind of did on the first one where they like mildly personified the tornadoes, almost gave them like an evil sentient kind of mindset.
Yeah.
But like not really. Like the first one did that too, where it's like the tornadoes are definitely the enemy, but they're not necessarily evil.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was kind of
nature,
cool.
like man versus nature kind of.
Yeah. I think that's about all for my pros, though. I wrote that the movie theater shot was cool, where the movie theater wall ripped off, and where the screen was the tornado. Mm-hmm. That's probably what the new ride's going to be. I'm calling it now.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be in a theater I'm calling it now, knocking on wood. I'm willing to put like $20 down. The Twisters ride is you're in the theater as the tornado's hitting.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool idea.
Can we talk about old Cowboy Tyler with his super ankle strength?
Dude does not skip ankle day.
Dude,
Your
was
leg's
crazy.
getting ripped off. If you're
Oh my gosh.
That breaks all physics there.
It was not even just his ankle. It was just like he had a toe hooked around the side of a seat that was like being in the process of ripped up.
Yeah,
from
sorry,
the
there's
ground.
like one leg left on the chair, still on the ground. I'm like, bro, no way.
Yeah, it looked cool, but the moment you stop to think about it, it's
that's
like,
that's the only thing I remember from the trailer for this movie. Because my dad even said it, like he saw it, like that wouldn't work. Like he was calling bull on it when it was just the trailer.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Noah.
Oh, I was gonna say I could be wrong. Might have to fact check me on this, but I think this movie has the same director as the first Jurassic World.
Let's look it up.
I could be wrong, but
Keep
I think
talking
I said
about
that.
look it up. Yeah,
But this movie reminds me of that because I feel like Jurassic World and this movie, when you watch them in the theater, you're like, that was a really fun time. I enjoyed myself. That was entertaining. And then when you stop to think about it a little bit, you're like, wait a minute. That kind of doesn't make sense, and people kind of make goofy decisions in this movie a lot. But it was still entertaining while I was watching it, I think.
And also, it's a movie that you would never watch outside of the movie theater.
Yes, exactly. It's a theater blockbuster.
I'm not going to watch this movie ever again. I'm not going to watch probably Jurassic World, any of them.
Yeah.
I don't see that being attributed to him. This is another weird situation of we have a huge movie franchise, but a bunch of, I don't want to say nobodies because that sounds demeaning, but like they're not like A-list celebrities.
Yeah.
Like this is a movie we talked about because of its name recognition. People are going to come to the theaters
the
to
budget
see.
went into the movie theater scene.
Yeah. So like it's Lee Isaac Chung is the director. He's an American filmmaker.
I know Spielberg was the executive producer for it.
I'd have to go back and look at that. But he
was on
hasn't
the
done
credits last
he
night.
hasn't done
Yeah.
anything I've heard of. He has done Minari,
I heard that was really good though.
Mun Young Hong Gambo. I hope I didn't say that
Oh my
right.
gosh, what did he
That sounds like a video game donkey.
Yeah, it does.
Character.
This is Mungo Bongo.
Abigail Harm, Lucky Life. I've not heard of any of these.
I heard Minari is fantastic, but I haven't seen it though.
I haven't even heard of that.
Yeah.
So and then like the main cast of characters, I am not familiar with any of their work either.
I know Glenn Powell's kind of a rising star. He was in a rom-com with Sydney Sweeney recently. And then Anthony Ramos, it was Javier, was in The Last Transformers, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'd never seen the girl before though, or any of the other friends.
Daisy Edgar Jones.
Ooh, the guy that played the guy that got left for dead, he's gonna be Superman next year.
Oh.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
David something or
is
other.
this going to be a connected universe? Is this how he's going to get the powers?
I mean, it's in Oklahoma. Well, no, it's in Kansas. They're close. They're close.
might as well be.
Yeah.
It's flatland.
So Daisy Edwards kind of had a big break, it looks like, with Where the Crawdads Sing. I had seen her somewhere. I didn't see that movie, but I remember seeing her face somewhere.
Yeah.
She was fine.
Kate turned into Owen Wilson at one
I
point.
thought everyone was fine.
When did she turn into Owen Wilson?
When they were talking about like the meteorology and like Tyler's crew was talking him up, and she goes, "Wow."
I missed that.
She
Wow.
went full Owen Wilson on that one. Like, you know what? I dig it.
No, I thought she was fine. The only scene I thought she didn't do great was the scene where she's crying in the barn. I don't, and maybe it's just me being curmudgeon-y, but I felt like, other than that, I thought she was really good. She was my favorite actress, other than the mom. The cowboy dude was my favorite actor. My favorite character was the mom. Who was your? Did you guys have a favorite character? I feel like the characters weren't strongly written in this movie.
I liked Tyler.
Tyler.
Yeah, like Tyler. They were
Yeehaw, goofy cowboy.
they were fun. I think that like idea, like the storm chasing YouTubers made the movie a lot of fun.
That
A lot
brought
more
it to,
fun than it
brought-
would have been
That brought it to
otherwise.
modern times there. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's something that probably would be a thing.
You know what? I actually had it as a con and moved it to a pro. I wrote down, let me see, because I didn't type it on here how I wrote it down. Yeah, I'm a weirdo. I brought a notebook.
That's what the pros do.
Yeah, is that what they do?
I think so,
Brought
yeah.
a notebook, and I overestimated how much light there would be.
Yeah.
Hollywood is an old man who hates streaming presentations. Because I recently have I've stopped turning on the Weather Channel or like news networks, and I'll find these YouTubers. The last big storm series we had down here about a month or so ago, I found a YouTuber who was based out of like Missouri, and he was sitting in like his basement in Missouri, and he had like 6 or 7 people driving and filming the storm. And this guy, apparently, I looked him up afterwards as a meteorologist who just, instead of going to work for like a big firm, started up a YouTube channel. And I was like, this is really cool. And the way he was explaining things and the fact that there were no ad breaks and like just how in depth he was, I was like, this is so much better than the Weather Channel. And when they introduced the streamers at first in this movie, they kind of made them look like bunch of redneck idiots. Yeah, like hillbillies. And it was like any schmuck with a $10 app chases storms nowadays. And I was like, man, Hollywood just hates like the fact that people can do on YouTube for basically free what they pay millions to do.
Yeah.
But then, as the movie goes on, we talked about it, they became the good guys. You find out that they are incredibly intelligent. They're very smart. They're philanthropic. Like, they actually help the communities with the proceeds that they make from selling T-shirts. So I was like, I moved that up to the pros that I actually liked that crew by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I also liked their British friend, Ben.
He was cool, too. Yeah. I really loved the meth head looking drone girl. She's
Yeah,
probably
Their,
my favorite.
their
Yeah.
whole squad was like, this is a vibe.
Yeah.
Like,
that was
I want the
they were
movie
funny.
just to be about them.
Yeah, honestly, like, I hope
Give us an origin movie.
if they make Twisters with a Z, the third one in the trilogy that I'm calling now, I hope it just focuses exclusively on the Wranglers.
Yeah.
My only big complaint about the Wranglers is when we're first introduced to them in that first chase, they're driving kind of like idiots, and they drive our character off the road. Like, they cut her off, and then their RV swings around, and they try to drive the Storm Part people off the road. And then in the later part of the movie, Stormpar drives in front of them. They're like, these idiots, they cut us off. They're trying to get people killed. And I was like,
Hypocrites.
did you not? Yeah. Was that not your whole introduction to the audience? Was that you
Well,
do
you did
that
the very
people?
beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
They had to be heavy-handed with like, hey, you're supposed to boo these guys, and then they got to flip it.
Yeah.
My thing is, okay, you can have the advanced truck and everything and all that, but like, they made a whole button for Kate's barrels, like in what I'm assuming is like a day, like.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem, though, is it doesn't tell you
how he did it.
How long they spent doing the stuff. It could have been longer, but we're supposed to assume this is all within a week.
Yeah. Also, when Javi acts like a douchebag, and like Kate gets mad and steals his truck, even though I guess the keys. I'm just gonna assume the keys were in the ignition. It's like, hey, I'm sorry for what I said earlier, but it's like the next day. It's like, why can't you just say yesterday? Like, why does it have to be weird? I mean, that's a nitpick, but it's like weird choice of words there.
Yeah, I have to rewatch.
Because it was a day, because she came home and she stayed the night, obviously. And then,
I think it had to be more than a day because, yeah, if you follow it, she stayed the night. The Tyler guy showed up the next morning.
Yeah.
Then they stayed the night, and the next morning we're working on it again. So it was like a day and a half later.
Like, I'm sorry what I said earlier. Like,
yeah,
like this dude went without a truck for a day and a half.
I originally wrote it as a nitpick, but they out there, my wife and her sister tried to convince me that it was normal. But she used the keys to unlock the truck as she was walking up to it, implying that.
Did she?
Yeah,
she just pulled on the handle.
It looked to me like she like the lights with the little unlock thing they do where they flash on. I could be wrong, and that was what I was saying. I took it off as one of my nitpicks. How did she get the keys from him?
I didn't see the lights turn on. I just assumed that they were just in the ignition.
They could have very well been. They were those wireless, like the key. Well, they were the key fob ones, so I guess he could have left it in the cup holder or something.
Yeah.
Don't leave your key fob in a cup holder.
Dangerous.
Yeah. Rookie move.
Yeah, rookie move.
Funny story. I almost drove off with someone's car one time. So when I worked as a aide, like this was a long time ago, shortly after I started working there, someone had a car very similar to mine. So I walked out, get in the car, I turn it on, and I see Nissan. I'm like, I don't have a Nissan. I look over and I see my car. I'm like, oh, I'm in someone else's car. They left the keys in there. I almost drove home with someone else's car.
I've never made it.
I'm bad.
Like, uh-oh.
I haven't made it that far, but I was leaving Walmart once, and I drive a black Ford Explorer, and there was a black Ford Explorer right next to mine. Didn't realize it. Ooh. And I got in, and I started the car, and it wasn't until, because the seats move themselves once you start it. Excuse me. It wasn't until the seat went way closer than I'm used to it going. I was like, what is going on? I looked over, and there was a purse in the floorboard. I was like...
Oh, they said a person.
No, a purse.
I was like, what?
I just turned off the car, got out, looked over, and my car was like 2 cars down. I was like, oh,
that's awkward. That's embarrassing.
Now you have to get out of the car, and then hopefully no one saw you.
Yeah, that was my thing. And it makes me wonder, like, has anyone ever done that with my car?
Yeah.
Kind of makes you think.
When I had the red Impala, someone did that to mine. It was really funny.
Oh, really? Like you saw him?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm like, hey, you got the wrong car. Our bad. And they got out and left.
While we're talking about the cars, I want to know, what are the windows in all these cars made from?
Yeah, they hit like a building. Like the chicken coop hit their car. I'm like, nothing broke.
At the beginning of the movie...
Slight crack,
yeah.
Beginning of the movie, all the windows are shattering from like the debris. And then in the last half of the movie, the windows on even like the RV are apparently like indestructible.
Yeah.
And like nothing cracks them. And I was like, I need whatever windows these...
they have trucks that have all this goofy stuff on there. They could probably get some super reinforced windows.
And maybe that's what
true.
they have.
The Stormpar vehicles, I guess you could explain that away.
Well, same with tornado wranglers. Like, you invest that much into a truck. You're like, get me the thickest glass you can give me.
Well, I guess the Wrangler is what I'm talking about. The girl sat in an EF5 Tornado, and while the truck got flipped, the windows were fine mostly at the end.
I'm sure they were super reinforced if they took the time to include drills on the bottom and
firework launchers.
I want a firework launcher on my car.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Can we rig that up? So I think that's most of my pros and cons that I had. I put that I thought some of the ad-libbing was bad at a couple times. Like whenever the Storm Wranglers were just kind of helping in all the chaos. I sometimes, whenever I like do musicals and I tell kids like, hey, everyone kind of ad lib this here, what ends up happening usually is someone says something and then everyone starts saying that thing.
Yeah.
And there's one part in the movie where a character, it was around the tent scene, a character goes, leave it, come on. And then it cut to the next person. They go, leave it, come on. And then they got inside the theater and the guy said to like the theater person, he goes, leave it, come on. And I was just like, you
Say
could have
something
wrote,
else, maybe.
like
yeah.
you could have wrote a few more lines for them.
Yeah.
Surely, like than
Hey,
just that.
We got to go.
Yeah.
There you go. I just wrote you one right there.
Get in the chopper. I don't know. Like
Get
to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
I thought the ad libbing was bad. I wrote on here, this is just a weird off comment thought. The camera strap was useless, but looked dope. I need to buy a camera strap.
Camera strap.
Kate at the end of the movie had a camera strap on and she used it to take a picture of the town.
Oh, yeah.
But then she wore it for the rest of the scene, even though there was no camera strap, and it just looks like a cool, like Uncharted looking,
Yeah, you look
like
a cool reporter
leather
person,
armor
yeah.
shoulder strap. And I was like, I need to get me a camera strap. That thing looks cool, even though it's doing nothing.
You got to look cool when you're fighting tornadoes.
Yeah, you gotta look cool.
Man, I think that's it though. I think we've discussed this movie at length. Do you guys have any like closing thoughts before we move on to like
I mean,
ranking it?
this is one of those things where it's like, I'm trying to think of how not everything needs a sequel.
Yeah.
So I don't think this movie necessarily needed to happen. Like, I get it, people love the first one. It's like, hey, it worked 20 years ago when we did the first one. Or almost 30 years ago now when we did the first one. Let's see if we can recapture that. It didn't.
Box office wise, it has.
Yeah.
Like, let me look up here.
Now, here's the thing.
You keep going. I'm gonna look up how much
that's
this
the
movie
thing.
made.
Do they necessarily care about the quality? Probably not, because it's raking in money. So it's tough. Like, I don't think this needed to happen. Like, not everything needs a sequel. Obviously, we got Beetlejuice 2 coming out, which I am excited for, but hopefully it's not like this.
Hold on, pause. Here's the strap. Look how cool that looks. Look how dope that is.
Yeah, she looks cool.
Yeah, it makes her look kind of like Sarah Connor from Terminator a little bit. Like
That's why we're looking at a picture with the actress with the camera strap, and
Yeah.
she looks really cool.
But so this says that Twisters is heading towards a 72 million opening after whipping up 10.7 million in previews.
That's
so
pretty good. That's good.
80
Yeah, they're doing all right.
82 million, budget of 200 million. Has to make over 200 million to break even.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, if it's at this rate, like how
Yeah, it's been out for what day?
I think so.
Was it this
Was it
weekend or
opening
was
night?
it last weekend?
I thought it opened Thursday.
I thought we were might have been opening night.
Yeah, we might have. Hold on, Twisters
Posters.
with an O. Twisters release date July 19th.
No, okay.
So what did I?
That was yesterday.
Okay, cool. I was like, I'm not paying attention.
Yeah.
So all right. So yeah, it's made half its budget basically in a day.
It'll be all right.
My mom's leaving their den to go see this. It's gonna make its money back. But I'm with you. The first movie is about the power and scariness of tornadoes. What do you do with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, it doesn't hurt the legacy of the first movie. It doesn't.
It's very fair. It's not like Ghostbusters, where I feel like they're actively ruining the older franchise with each new movie in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they retconned anything or
Yeah.
anything like that. Like, don't do that.
Nope. Yeah, I think it was just an okay
It's
movie.
its own thing.
Yeah.
Jonah, any closing thoughts before we vote?
Kind of unrelated, but I looked up a minute ago. The director of Jurassic World was Colin Trevorrow, so I don't know what I saw that made me think that. But I think the comparison's still valid, but I don't know what I saw that made me think that they were connected somehow.
It does make you wonder how these directors with next to no movies under their belt get these movies, or in this instance, because I looked it up earlier, that guy has apparently directed Chung apparently directed something really good from what you told, but reading the little description there, it looked like it is nowhere near this kind of movie.
Oh no, I think Minari's A24, so it's like a family drama or something.
It's weird to me that Hollywood repeatedly just grabs these people who are like, yeah, I want to do a big 200 million blockbuster. Like, no, I've never done it before. I'll be fine. And like, he did okay. Chung, if you ever happen to listen to this podcast, I think he did an okay job.
Yeah.
I have a lot of complaints, but you didn't ruin it. But it is weird to me how that happens. I will always want to know what the application process for these movies looks like when you're in Hollywood.
Like, it's like, oh, that movie won an award. Come do this unrelated movie. That's
Yeah.
completely different. Yeah.
It's weird. All right. Well, if we got no more closing thoughts, let's go ahead and we're at 50 minutes. We talked about this movie more than I thought we would. I thought this would be a shorter episode. So we're coming up on an hour.
We're doing all right.
We're doing all right. Let's start with plot. I'll go ahead and kick us off. I'm going to give plot a 3. 3 is technically average. I don't think the plot was bad. It was far from good. It was kind of like what Cole was saying. What do you even do with the plot to keep it interesting?
Yeah.
So the plot was just it was mediocre. I'm going to give plot a 3. Cool.
I'm also going to give it a 3 for the same thing. It's a very, very mid. It's a very mid plot, and also it's like kind of like what is the plot really? You're trying to stop a tornado, but also you're trying to save people and.
Ooh, pause. Okay, I know
Timing.
the audience couldn't hear that, but like I think my cat just knocked a bowl over or something. Pause. A really big complaint I had, and I put it in its own category because I thought it was a significant complaint when it comes to the plot. I lost my notes, but it was the real estate guy. They talk about how nasty, evil this real estate guy is.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of some beef before she steals his truck outside of the motel,
Yeah.
and then he's never brought up.
Yeah.
Yes.
We don't.
This Marshall Riggs fellow.
Is what he's doing evil? Is he
knows?
helping people? Are they going to do anything about it? I think they just literally forgot about that plot thread.
More than likely.
And it really bothers me because
Yeah.
like a good chunk of the movie was dedicated to Stormpar and their shady investment firm. Even like in the opening, she's like, how are you going to get the money to even do this? He's like, I've got investors. Like they've set this up that the money is shady.
Yeah.
And then never did anything with it.
Yeah, never panned out. Yeah.
So I'm not going to let that affect my plot score. I'll probably put that in continuity, but that bothered me. So Jonah, sorry, what would you give plot?
I would also give it 3. I mean, pretty much what you guys said. I mean, there's nothing really like necessarily bad about it, but it's not. It doesn't really excel in anything plot wise. It's just kind of exactly what you'd expect.
Just there.
So yeah.
Cole, I'll kick it over to you. Characters.
2.
Okay. A
So
little harsh. Explain your reasoning.
okay, so I mean, I didn't care for any of these characters. I thought everyone was very mid, but there's also more negative characters than good. Like just like Hobby didn't care for his character at all. Even though he had the change of heart, he and still F Hobby. The Stormpar guys, forgettable. Couldn't tell you anybody.
Yeah.
Even though they hyped him up. Even the Tornado Wranglers didn't really flesh out any. Like they look cool.
Yeah.
All I know is the British guy from their whole crew, and he's not even part of the Wranglers. He's just there.
Yeah. I don't remember any of their names if they even gave them names.
Yeah.
I think they did at some point.
The mom I liked, I guess. The mom, Kate, and Tyler are the only 3 that like.
Yeah. So 2.
Yeah, we'll do. I'm sticking with 2.
Jonah, I'm going to kick it to you.
I'm gonna give characters a 3 also. I think that like their arcs aren't necessarily like too crazy. You know, it's like, getting over trauma. It's not like a bad thing. It's just, I think their arcs weren't super crazy, but I would give it a 3 because I feel like a lot of them, at the very least, they had personality. Like the Storm Wrangler people, or even like the mom had personality. So I feel like I would much rather have that than like more like serious characters that are just really boring to watch, I think. So I'd give it a 3.
I agree with that. I'm also going to give it a 3. Like, the characters weren't great. They weren't fleshed out. I don't remember I don't even remember like a quarter of their names. But does this movie, kind of because of what it is, need strong characters character development? So, like, I think that for what the movie did, the characters served their purpose. I'm going to go 3. Jonah, I'm going to kick it over to you. Direction. So, Isaac Chung and his team's involvement in this.
Oh boy, direction.
Now, direction's one of those that has always been like, do we include CGI in direction? Do we include the soundtrack? I think it's however you want to put it. I think that the movie as a cohesive unit falls to the director. That includes the soundtrack, the CG, the way the actors delivered their lines. It's however you want to interpret direction. We don't have a like very defined thing for it, although we probably should.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it another 3. It's a very 3 movie. I'm gonna give it 3 because, like, I would count soundtrack. I like the soundtrack. The original soundtrack. Some of like the vocal songs, they weren't bad, but
There was a little bit of an original soundtrack.
yeah,
There
like,
was,
like the instrumentals. Like I said, the piano trills that they had sometimes were good. I like some of the sound design because, like, I don't know if you noticed in the theater, sometimes when a tornado was going, you would hear like stuff like buildings
It was
getting
cool,
hit
yeah.
behind you and stuff. Camera work wise, it's a little like they don't do anything really crazy like with camera movement or anything. Besides like the pool scene, they kind of did a little bit. Yeah, like cinematography wise, it doesn't knock your socks off, but it's not like bad either. So yeah, I give it like a 3, I would say. So
This is the one where I'm gonna start being a little mean. I'm gonna give this a 2. I don't think he did like a terrible job, but like and it's probably not him. Just like this is everyone involved with the overall direction of this movie. Like the CG from time to time was a little wacky. The sound design was really good. I like the soundtrack, but the pacing of the movie I felt like was kind of all over the place. I think I'm the only one who felt this way, but I had that tonal conflict where it couldn't decide if it wanted to be funny or scary. Should we laugh at and have fun driving into tornadoes, or should we think that there are things like reverent, religious? Like I just felt like the movie had it didn't know how it felt about a lot of different things. And made some weird choices. I think my weirdest camera choice, this would have been for sure the director, is when she Googled the real estate guy. What was his name called?
Marshall Riggs.
She Googled Marshall Riggs, and it went to a like first person shaky hand cam shot that then like zoomed in on the laptop screen.
I think I do remember that. Yeah,
And-
yeah. It was weird.
There's 2 or 3 of those scattered throughout the movie, which I thought was just weird. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the 2 for direction. That's my mean one.
I think it's valid. I think it's valid.
I'm a 3 for directions. I thought the tornadoes looked good, which, when you're in the movie Twisters, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
But, soundtrack was fine. Acting and the pacing was,
Yeah.
yeah. Could be better, but also not the worst I've seen.
All right. We're gonna go into continuity. Now, this is not a franchise movie. It doesn't have lore, so its continuity is a little bit harder to rank in this.
It's its own thing.
I originally was gonna be really mean to the continuity, for a couple reasons, like them getting out of the car, her stealing the truck, leaving the pizza on the bed. But like at the end of the day, the more I think on it, there was only a few things like once we've discussed it. So I'm gonna give continuity a 4. I think there's a few things they could have done better. The biggest one for me was just showing, and this is kind of plot, showing those conversations that happen between things. Like, how did we get from New York to Oklahoma? Like, I would have liked a little bit more stuff there. So, like, I'm going to give continuity a 4. It's not quite a 5, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I'm also going to be a 4. Really, yeah, continuity-wise, there wasn't much that's, like, going to drag it down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what does have going for it, is that it's not a franchise movie. So it can be its own thing. It doesn't have to go play by the rules that someone else already established.
Yeah. And Jonah?
I'm also probably going to go 4. Like you said, I mean, there's not really much you can really narc on it for too much. The one thing that maybe I had to go pee also when they were explaining this, so maybe I missed this. If I remember right, this is the one thing I was like, At the beginning of the movie, they have like the trailer full of barrels that can stop the tornado, right?
Yeah.
And they say this will only work on an F1 or F2, right?
Yeah.
Tornado. And then later they have like a few more barrels, and it stops in F5.
Yeah, they plugged it into the computer, and they pretty much recalibrated what they needed to stop the tornado, just made it more.
Okay.
No. The big thing was that they launched rockets of something up into the upper area. That was the big difference. They said it needed this to happen for the barrels to work. Now, I agree with you, Jonah. I thought it was weird that they hypothesized this should maybe kind of possibly work on an F1.
Yeah.
And then it worked
stops
on a 5.
Monster, yeah.
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's the only thing I was kind of like.
But they talked about how they didn't account for the humidity So they needed to shoot something into the atmosphere
To get rid of
so
the humidity.
break up that, and then that's where they go with the rockets. So that's why in the EF5 she shoots those rockets up into it.
Gotcha. My bladder prevented me from that.
Okay.
I still give it a 4 though. Like I'm not gonna narc it for that.
Yeah.
There's not. I would say the only thing keeping it from a 5 is that there's not really much where I'm just like, man, this movie has great continuity. You know.
Yeah.
So.
All right. The last category, Cole, bring us home. Enjoyment.
2.
Ooh.
Oh. Ooh. Oh.
I didn't like this movie. I would never watch it again. I mean, it's just a one and done kind of thing.
Okay.
It's like there's nothing that this movie offers that brings me
Joy.
that will bring me back to watch it again. It's not like
emptiness.
yeah, like
Okay.
I didn't like it.
That's valid. I mean,
I didn't like the. I don't say I didn't like the first one. I'm very mid on the first one, which I haven't seen in a while, but this one was worse than the first one.
okay. Jonah.
I'm actually gonna give it enjoyment of 4 because it's a very like average, I would say like middle of the road movie. There's pros and cons. I think I give it a 3 on everything except continuity. But I just feel like this is a pretty solid, like you said, like bring a bunch of, even though don't go to the movies very much, you bring your family to the movies. It's got an all right love triangle. It's got some tense moments. You like the characters enough, just enough. I just think it's a pretty enjoyable time at the theater.
If you're that one family, then you apparently never been to a movie theater.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to talk about that. But yeah, that was funny. Like for context, we got there and they went inside and I stepped back out to scan my tickets because there was like one poor attendant working the line. There was like a huge line and there was no one scanning tickets. So I went back out to the lobby and tried to get the machine to work. Finally, a guy came out. But while I was there, there was like this older lady, bless her soul. She was like, kids, get in front of the Twister. We're going to take a picture for your grandma on Facebook. Like, get up there and take it. She was like, now, Jimmy, now, and like naming them off. And then she made them one by one take a picture with the movie poster. I was like, that's kind of cute. They probably don't come
they're
to
enjoying it.
They probably don't come to the theater often. But then they got in front of me in line and just listening to them order was a mess. Like the kids were like, I heard the little girl go, they got popcorn? And I was like, bruh.
It's a movie theater.
I was like, where you been? So I'm glad they were there. Once again, like I said, I'm glad that it's not a mean word. I wish I was normie. Like normal people are coming out to go see this movie. We're just a bunch of curmudgeon-y old men here. Like, so I think that was good. So I'm going to give enjoyment a 3. I think it was okay. I didn't hate it. I would not want to watch it again, but like, a couple years from now, if one of my friends was like, I didn't see Twisters, let's watch that tonight, I wouldn't like leave.
Yeah, my mom likes the first one, but like she's kind of like you said, she's probably not going to go to a theater ever. If like a few months it comes out on streaming, she's like, hey, I'm going to watch Twisters. Want to watch? I'm not going to say no.
Yeah,
but
so I would watch it again after some time. I'm not going to leave. I thought it was okay. So that puts me at a 60, Cole at a 56, Jonah at a 68. He's very lenient, putting our total score at a 61%. So it just barely scraped out a D.
I think that's a 61. I think is solid. That's a solid. I think that's accurate.
So let's see. What did it do better then?
So Cole and I recently, like as Jonah got in, I typed out a new rubric and we were going through all the scores. So it's done better than Five Nights at Freddy's.
Thank God.
The Marvels, The Creator, Haunted Mansion. So basically, like the last 4 things we've seen.
We're on the uptick right now.
Yeah. Was the Creator that bad? I thought it looked pretty cool. I think
was-
I say this every time we talk about
Go
it.
listen to the episode, Jonah.
So
I didn't want spoilers, but I might just do it anyways.
I think you should go listen to the episode if you're listening to this podcast. Jonah, my problem with The Creator wasn't. It was just there were so many things that were just dumb, just stupid creative decisions.
Yeah.
That led to it being not enjoyable. That was my problem with The Creator.
That's valid. That's
like
valid.
this movie had a lot of things that it didn't do amazing, but it didn't necessarily do them poorly.
Yeah.
Like I think to put it in context, the stupidest moment The Creator for me was we have a tank, ginormous, 4-story tall. It's the size of like a mini building rolling around the ground tank.
Yeah.
And it's capable of shooting rockets. They need to kill some people that are living in what's essentially huts by the water. Do you know how they do that, Jonah?
They get out.
Kind of.
Oh.
They have a robot that runs on 2 legs with a timer, runs across this bridge, just It was almost funny. And then like stops and then blows up. I thought
Suicide bomb robot.
Yeah.
they established that they have rockets. So why would you make a robot, the bomb a robot?
Yeah.
Unless your show is just about robots, you have to have robots and everything. But then later, the little kid like hacks the robot and convinces it to turn around and run into like the people's tank. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Stupid stuff.
real military would never ever not
on
just
continuity,
throw a bomb. Like, you know what I mean? There's no like the robot has served just stuff like that.
That's
so,
fair.
61%. It did better than a lot of our stuff. It did better than Suzume.
Good.
Yeah.
As it should.
You know what? I need to rewatch that, but no, I'm with you. I didn't enjoy that. It did better than Mithrigan.
Yeah.
And
that's where it
lies.
Yeah.
Our best movies still Oppenheimer, The Whale, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. The Whale's the only perfect one we have.
I'm surprised that Puss in Boots only has an 89 on here.
Oh, I love Puss. I love that movie.
We're spoiling our podcast. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in.
They've been out for a long time.
Yeah. Any closing comments or thoughts, guys?
What's next for us? Deadpool?
I think it's going to be Deadpool, right? Is that next week?
Yeah,
I think it
comes out next Friday.
I'm pretty excited for that.
I thought that I'm looking forward to the new Joker movie, even though a lot of people are like mixed feelings about when
Even though you thought the trailer was for Joker last night, it definitely wasn't for Joker.
Okay, so
I don't blame you though. Like
I was waiting for where's he at? Where's Joaquin Phoenix at?
I think I've said this on the podcast before. I don't want to watch an ad for a movie I know I'm going to go see. Why? Why would I watch it? It can only make it worse for me.
Yeah.
So I put in my AirPods, I cranked Disco Snails, and just like started popping out some Wolfpack, or Wolfman, sorry. But what I thought it was the Joker because I know in the upcoming Joker movie it stars Lady Gaga. It's somewhat of a musical. She's like a singer.
yeah.
And like there's like the whole smiling lipstick face paint thing. So in the theater last night, when I see Lady Gaga singing and it starts getting kind of spooky, and then she uses lipstick to draw like a smiley face, I was like, oh, this is Joker. So I put my ears in. I don't think I've seen the first Smile movie.
It wasn't good.
Oh, so it got a sequel, apparently.
Just like, a lot of things shouldn't get sequels.
Those Blumhouse movies usually make pretty good money if they're not very good. I don't know if that is Blumhouse. I assume it's Blumhouse.
It looked like it.
Yeah.
There's a couple movies coming out. So we got Deadpool next week. Eventually the Joker movie. I thought that Trap movie looked good.
Yeah,
that
I'm
looked
intrigued.
interesting.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah. That looked very intriguing.
Speak No Evil, I think is what it's called.
I was actually, because he just talked about Blumhouse, Speak No Evil. I thought that looked really good with them.
McAvoy in it.
I love
Yeah.
McAvoy.
He's so good.
So good.
He's good at being creepy.
Yeah, he really is. So yeah, like we've got a few things coming up. It seems like people are starting to go back to the theaters. And with that, Hollywood is starting. I feel like there's been enough big bad flops recently. I'd like to hope
Do something original.
that Hollywood is pumping the brakes. They're like, let's put out some quality instead of quantity. And you're also seeing a lot of the reason there was nothing but these Hollywood flops for a while is because people that didn't have a ton of money during COVID couldn't shoot movies, but we're now starting to see that there are more movies coming out as people are filming again. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Tell you what, it's one that we didn't go see. Went with some other people and watched In a Violent Nature. Very
that
low
good?
budget horror movie.
You like it though?
I enjoyed it.
I'll check that out.
It
at
was
some
fun.
point. Yeah, I need to check
It's
that out.
basically like a Jason movie, but from the perspective of the killer. The whole
Okay,
time.
that's kind of cool.
Something different.
We're watching Parasite tonight. I was going to ask, are there any movies we've seen that we haven't, like in the last couple of years, that we haven't covered on the podcast
Iron
that
Claw.
like you think people should check out?
That's
Iron
a good
Claw?
movie. Dune Part 2 also. I don't think you guys did that.
Doom Part 2. I wanted to.
That's
Honestly,
that was fantastic.
I've got it on DVD.
I mean,
in there.
Space Jam 2 really deserved a movie rubric. I think that would have been.
Oh, that would have been a time.
Did it, Cole?
It would have been an entertaining
It would have
episode.
been a so bad it's funny. Episode.
Yeah.
Space Jam 2 deserves an oil fire. No, maybe I got Dune over there. I'm looking at the popcorn bucket and the board game.
No,
I got it on 4K. Maybe we do a Dune watch night next week sometime.
Just because we have to say it, when are we going to do Gran Turismo?
It's
Oh,
on
yeah,
streaming
iconic.
now.
It's been out
Yeah.
for almost a year now.
I kind of refuse to watch Gran Turismo on not Josh's sound system.
Yeah. I heard it wasn't.
I heard it was good.
It's
Yeah.
on Netflix.
That's fine. Maybe we do a Space Jam Dune Gran Turismo triple feature.
Oh,
Yeah.
the first ever.
That's what I tell you guys it's going to be, but it's actually just the Lord of the Rings when
Oh,
you guys
boy.
show up. So,
That'd be a cool episode.
alrighty.
Never forget Two Towers lost a small soldier.
Let's not talk about
That
it.
is actually I haven't even seen the Lord of the Rings all the way through. There is no way Small Soldiers is better than Lord of the Rings Two Towers. That's
Cole
crazy.
just wanted to be controversial and stir the pot, and I don't respect him as a human being for that.
I know that's
anymore.
fair.
Yeah. Alrighty. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you've made it this far, we appreciate it. We're knocking off the rust on this episode. This is hopefully the first of like a.
Have a good run here.
Yeah, we'll have a good run. I felt rusty on this episode. You know, I don't know if you guys did too. So hopefully this is the start of a good run for us and a good run for the theaters. If you liked it, tell your friends. Share it with them. We'd really appreciate it. Any closing comments, guys? Jonah, as we end the episode here, some of our best moments when we did the best moments was Jonah ending the episode. So Jonah, I want you to end this episode here with your best tornado noise.
Ooh, no. That's pretty good, right?
Is he done? I kept wanting to stop it, but then he kept changing it. And I was like, I don't want to cut him off. That was really good. I like that you added water into it.
Yeah, it hit a pond.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. Have a good night.